ready to go here. So let's become silent. Quiet yourself and center yourself by first focusing on your breath. Inhale, deeply, exhale. Feel the love and compassion in your heart for yourself, and of course for the animals. Contemplate your purpose for being at this event. And how you feel while you are here at this event. With that, I will Heather.
Good morning and welcome to the 6th Annual National Animal Rights Day. Today we stop everything else and give our full attention to the most abused, devalued, and oppressed group on this planet, animals. Animals cannot advocate for themselves, and their voices cannot be heard. So they are counting on us, on compassionate people like you and me, to give them a voice. Every minute of every day, we cage, mutilate, and kill more than 100,000 animals. That's 100,000 animals every minute. This past year in the U.S. alone, 10 billion land animals and 20 billion sea animals were killed for food. 10 million died in laboratories. 3 million were killed for their skin and fur. An estimated 200 million were killed by hunters. That's 80 million living beings a day. Living beings that we call animals, which somehow makes them lower than us. We like to place ourselves above them so that we can treat them as inferior, unimportant, usable objects. Objects that do not feel pain. Objects that somehow do not mind being raped, being tortured, enslaved, and killed. Objects not worthy of moral consideration. We have conveniently convinced ourselves that animals aren't smart enough to know what's going on as they face death all around them, as they smell the blood of their slaughtered peers, as they listen to their friends' shrieks and moans, as they themselves writhe in pain. Somehow we figure they're okay with it. They're just animals. Their minds aren't as developed as ours. So what do they know? What do animals know? In 2012, a group of international brain researchers came together at the University of Cambridge and declared animal consciousness to be the same as human consciousness. The Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness states that humans are not unique in possessing the neurological substrates that generate consciousness. It also states that non-human animals, including all mammals and birds and many sea creatures, also possess these neurological substrates. This means that the scientific consensus about animal consciousness is that they think, they feel, and they are aware. This means then that a goose, the agony that a goose feels as it is pinned down while its feathers are torn from its body, the terror that a fox experiences as it is electrocuted, strangled, and skinned alive for its fur, the panic that a lamb feels as it is kicked and prodded towards the killing floor, the restrained anger that a tiger or elephant feels as it is beat into submission in order to perform tricks, all of these feelings, all of these experiences, and so many more, these are as real to these animals as they would be to us. This means that they suffer. And as Jeremy Bentham so famously stated, the question is not, can they reason, nor can they talk, but can they suffer? That is the question we should be asking, and the answer to this question is yes. Animals do not deserve this. They deserve to live their lives free from suffering and exploitation, just as we do. Would we imprison our children in cages too small for them to move? Then why to a pig? Would we violate our sisters and steal their babies? Then why to a cow? Would we deliberately infect our friends with diseases and leave them untreated? Of course not. So why would we do the same to other beings? We must abandon the incorrect boundary that separates humans from all others, a boundary that we use to justify the ongoing mistreatment of billions of beings. In conclusion, the abuse that animals suffer is heartbreaking, but as hard as it is to think about, we cannot stop animal suffering if we simply look the other way and pretend it isn't happening. To all of the participants in attendance today, thank you for not being indifferent. Some people will look at us and think we are silly, overdramatic, maybe a little fanatical. But really, all we are people who care and who realize that each of us has the power to save animals from the unimaginable suffering they have been enduring at our hands. You are all proof that altruism still exists as a driving force of justice, giving hope of the possibility of a just and free planet for all Earth species. Thank you.
Right.